We are once again before the curtain goes up, and I'm here with the prolific Roy Surrett, the artistic director again of Touchstone Theatre. Roy, how are you?
I'm great, David. How are you?
I'm very well. You've directed all across Canada. You've made quite the name for yourself. I always love watching your productions. I was happily directed by you once, twice, I think. What when you get a project, how do you approach it when you pick a project or someone gives you a project and says do this? What are the steps that you take to direct a show?
Well, directing is so much coordinating, right? It's like, but I think probably the biggest key is assembling the team, right? Whether that's the actors and the design team and people that you're going to be working with to make it a wonderful experience, because we want everything to be, pleasant and exciting and challenging, but in good ways. So to me, it's sort of about picking the team. And sometimes, if it's depending on the play, you think about different designers that you may have worked with, or in this upcoming instance that we're going to talk about, I've got a combination of people that I've worked with a lot over many years and people that are brand new to me, but both in the design department as well as on stage. So I figure it's about that's one of the key components of directing is, they say casting is like 80%.
And the other 10% is the production team.
Yeah, the production team, and then 10% of things that you might well, try this and try that. The process that you go into once you've assembled your said wonderful team.
Right. Well, because I've seen stuff like sometimes have ideas. Like I remember you had one show where you had someone sleeping upright and they had the bed behind them, or another show where you had people walking across chairs and stuff like that. Is that like, does the show dictate that, where you go, well, I can do that with this show because it's more fantastical, or do you just go, I want to do that wherever I can?
You don't see it the same. You don't see me doing the same trick twice too often, I
No,
don't think.
no.
But I don't know. The wonderful thing about theater is it's theatrical, right? And so sometimes, and yet we live in an era where we're so inundated with television and film. And so our sense of what a camera can do, sometimes you can create stage pictures that emulate that in different ways, and yet still have the live actors. I think audiences are really quite delighted sometimes when you see something that looks like it's filmic, and there were influences. I was certainly influenced by people like Robert Lepage and Théâtre de Complicité and different companies that were working in very physical ways. And my early directing credits were with like Axis Mime Theater and co-directing with Wendy Gorling. So, all the beauty's in the detail, as you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's trying to figure out what would best serve the play, and what would be the way of telling the story.
Nice. Now you've got this Yaga coming
Yeah.
up. It looks spooky. You got Colleen Wheeler there with some like chicken-legged house. Is this a Halloween show, or is it just happens to be around Halloween?
It's perfect for Halloween. We actually had the theater booked before we actually were confirmed on what show we were doing. And I was looking at something else that was also kind of spooky and mysterious, but very, very dark. And I kind of went, ugh, do I really want to go into this really dark place with this other play that is a very strong play? And I won't even tell you what that one is because we're not doing it. And then I encountered Yaga. I remembered Yaga. Susan Shank, actually, our general manager, said, have you heard about Yaga? And I remember going, oh, I remember that was a play that opened at the Tarragon in 2019, just before the pandemic. I think it was in the fall of 2019. And it's Kat Sandler, who I think is an incredible writer. She's so sassy and smart and ambitious. And so I got a copy of it, and as soon as I read it, I went, wow, this is great. I want to do this. And then we began assembling the team. It is kind of scary. It incorporates the myth, not the myth, but the mythology of Baba Yaga, who's like the Slavic witch who she's in some
Eat
video
children
game.
or something like
She
that?
eats children, yeah. She does eat children. That's one of the things that she's known for. And people, we had some people from the Ukraine coming in and working with us a little bit to tell us that, yeah, they were a little bit terrorized. Their parents would say, if you don't finish your dinner, Baba Yaga might come in the night and eat you. So she's kind of like the boogeyman meets the wicked witch, I guess, if
Right.
you say. But it's a female. And what Kat Sandler was interested in saying, well, it was probably defined because it's a powerful older woman, a crone. It's kind of patriarchal to define them as like horrible and awful, and nobody would ever want to certainly have sex with them. And she decided to
Quite a
talk
point.
about she wanted to talk about older women and how they seem to sort of vanish from sight. She said, I was inspired by, we have so many fantastic actresses that are of a certain age, or certainly they're beyond playing their ingenue roles, and I want to write for them. And so she's created this incredible character, or combination of characters, that Colleen Wheeler is going to inhabit. And back to process, I said when I looked at this play and read it, I will do this play if Colleen Wheeler says yes, she would do it. And she was, very happy to. She'd actually worked with Kat Sandler on a wild project at the Citadel Theatre in Edmonton, where they did two plays simultaneously in two theaters, kind of like Acorn did a similar thing. This was, and they literally, Colleen said it was like running a marathon to get between one theater and the other, and they'd have to make their entrances. And so she had a very intense firsthand experience with Kat,
Right.
and
Wow.
really enjoyed that. And Kat Sandler's, she's just a bit wild and wonderful.
Now, one of the things that I like about your work is like you have you have cheeky fun. Oh, I look like I've frozen a little bit there. You have like cheeky fun in what you do, but you also are incredibly heartfelt. Like you bring light, and then you sucker punch us with pain. Where we're like, and almost everything. So what are we to expect with Yaga as we wrap up? If I was going to, like, why should I buy a ticket and go see this show? My goodness, I have limited money. I'm still worried about the pandemic.
I
Why should I go?
don't I know it? Well, we do have some good seats that are not nearly as expensive as the prime seats in the Cultch House. Cultch is an expensive venue to rent, but Yaga I said one of the things that I was excited about this project is it requires everybody to be on their A game, the actors, the designers, and the audience, because it's like a police procedural. It's about there's a story that runs through it about a missing bad boy college kid, and it's kind of a murder mystery that and they piece it together. So you really have to listen. And yet, all the 16 characters that are covered in the play are played by the three actors. So it's really kind of keeps them on their toes. And it does have great humanity, but it's got a lot of wit, humor, a bit of a few scares, and a lot of mystery. I think it's one of the ones that the audience will be really trying to second guess and see what is a red herring. And it works in that kind of traditional way that a whodunit does, but it's also got this incredible feminist older woman threading us through the story in a lot of ways. She sort of and we learn a lot about the mythology of Baba Yaga, and we learn to maybe look at her in a different way.
Nice. Well, it sounds thrilling. It sounds very exciting. I'm very excited with Colleen being in it. The poster looks spooky. Um, I'll let you get right back to rehearsal because
I,
you're
I, do- I just
yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to mention
Yeah.
Genevieve Fleming and Aidan Correa are our other two actors. They are spectacular. They are
Yeah.
so the work that they're doing. Genevieve, who was just in
She's a
Clean
bard.
Espejo, yeah,
Oh,
and did Bard all summer. She played about 6 roles. She was a kind of a cover in Bard and wound up going on for about. So I said, well, you're prepped for this task. She was also doing another show while we were rehearsing, so she's
wow.
incredible. And Aidan is this new guy in town that I think everybody's going to be pretty excited by seeing. He's a wonderful, wonderful actor.
Nice. I remember Genevieve when she was in this uh procedural weird location drama. Anyways, I can't
Oh
even
yeah,
remember the name of it.
Wet.
Oh yeah, but she was so funny and serious. It was like
Yeah,
she just has well, she has a sensibility like you, where you can find the light and the fun and make people go ah
yeah.
at
No,
the
she's
same time.
incredible. She's
Yeah,
also a wonderful director. So I've had a lot of kind of support in terms of like as we're going, well, how are we going to do this? She usually has her hand up and has some good ideas, and she's fantastic for that. And the play comes from a female point of view. So certainly Colleen and Genevieve had their say, and then some,
nice.
and
How
as it
wonderful.
should be.
Nice. And why don't you just plug the rest of your season? Because you got a
Oh,
season, you're one of them. You got
yes.
three more shows or two more shows?
Two more shows. One is just going to come and go really quickly. So this is one. This is why we're asking people to get subscriptions to guarantee tickets, because there's only two performances of a piece called Okanum that's going to be part of the Push Festival, and it's going to be at the Anvil Center out in New Westminster. So it's all right at the
Skytrain.
very just outside the SkyTrain. It's so
Yeah,
easy to get there.
so
Feels
easy.
like it's like forever away, but it's honest to God, it's a half an hour from downtown, door to door. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful piece, an indigenous piece about a woman's mythology and this dream of a giant beaver. And it's very audiovisual. It's going to be intimate in the round. There's only like 150 seats per performance. So that's a get your tickets now. And then we're finishing our season with The Wrong Bashir by Zahida Ramatullah. You probably heard about it because
I've heard that one before.
it was
Yeah.
supposed to happen at VACT before the pandemic. They were going to be doing it, and then they went through changes. And although they're supporting the production, it's was selected by Daniela Atienzia, our associate artistic director at Touchstone, to be the new Flying Start play. So, which focuses on an early career playwright getting an opportunity to have a full-on production, and this is full-on. There's 10 actors in this piece. A
Wow.
bunch of them were just in 90 days because it also deals with kind of Ismaili culture, but in a much lighthearted way about a university kid who studies nihilism and wants to do podcasts on old cassette tapes and send them around Commercial Drive. And his parents have other ideas.
Wow. So you got a lot of stuff coming up, and you must be so excited now that you can go back into the theater and invite people into the world
Yes.
that you create.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Roy. All the best with Yaga.
Thank you, David. Always a pleasure. Nice to see you.